Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum viewers. You're watching YouTube and Facebook channels of Professor Dr. Rizwan Jamil Qureshi. Welcome to the lecture number 27 of Software Design Patterns course. I am covering state design pattern today. A state pattern says that the class behavior changes based on its state. In state pattern, we create objects which represent various states and context object whose behavior varies as state object changes. State pattern is also known as objects for states. For example, during driving, we have camera on the signals. So if we have green state, we can move our car. If it is yellow and we have crossed the white line, we can cross the signal. And if it is red, we have to stop it. Three states are there. Similarly, on highway, you have maximum speed limit is 120. So if you are driving at a speed of 130, 140, you will get fine around 300 real. And if you are driving at a speed of 150 km per hour, you have a fine of 500 real. If you are driving at a speed of 180, 190, you have a fine of 800 real or 1000 real. Depending on your state, you have the fine. Similarly, in the game, we have different states. Or you are not wearing the seat belt, then you have the fine. If you are not switching on your headlight in the night, then there is a fine. You are violating the one-way traffic, there is a fine. So according to the state, the object will react and the context object has the action or reaction. Advantages: it keeps the state-specific behavior. It makes any state transition explicit. Usage: when the behavioral object depends on its state and must be able to change its behavior at runtime according to the new state. It is used when the operations have large multi-part conditional statements that depend on the state of an object. Like ATM machine, we have a state of transaction, withdraw. We have state to check balance. We have a state to transfer cash. We have a state to pay bill. So there are different states. According to that, action or reaction will happen. Let's go to the implementation. We have state, context, we have poor state, we have rich state, and we have state. We have state.java, public interface state, public void say something, state context sc. So I define a method, say something, state context sc. Poor.java, so public class poor, implement state. Override method from the state interface, public void say something, state context sc, system.out.print I'm poor currently and spend much time working. So sc.change state, new rich, close the method, close the class. Rich.java, public class rich, implement state. Override method from the state interface, say something, state context sc, system.out.print I'm rich currently and play a lot. sc.change state, new poor, close the method, close the class. State context.java, public class state context, private state current state, public state context constructor current state is equal to new poor, public void change state, state new state, this dot current state is equal to new state, public void say something, this dot current state say something, this, close the method, close the class. Then we have the main state pattern demo, public static void main string arguments, state context sc object is equal to new state context, sc dot say something, sc dot say something, sc dot say something, sc dot say something, close the main, close the class. This is our output. I am poor currently and spend much time working. I am rich currently, play a lot. I am poor currently, spend much time working. I am rich currently and play a lot. Example 2 of state pattern. We have context, we have state, start state, stop state, and we have the main. Context.java, public class context, private state state, public context constructor, state is equal to null, public void set state, state, this dot state is equal to state, public state get state, return state, close the method, close the class. State.java, our interface, public interface state, public void do action, context, stop state.java, public class stop state, implement state, public void do action, override from state interface, context, system.out.print, player is in stop state, context.set state this, public string to string, return stop state, close the method, close the class. Start state.java. Public class start state, implement state, public void do action, override method from the state interface, context, system.out.print, player is in start state, context.set state this, public string to string, return start state, close the method, close the class. Client.java, our main, public static void main string arguments, context object, new context, start state object, new start state dot do action, context, system dot out dot print, context dot get state dot to string. Then stop state is the new stop state dot do action, context, system dot out dot print, context dot get state dot to string, close the main, close the class. This is our output. Player is in start state. Player is in stop state. Applicability. Object's behavior depend on its state and it must change its behavior at runtime depending on the state. Operations have large multi-conditional statements that depend on the object state. So this state pattern puts each branch of the condition in a separate class. Like transaction module, we have withdraw, transfer cash, check balance, pay bill, deposit cash. Lets you treat the object state as an object in its own right that can vary independently from the other objects. Thank you very much. Jazakallah khair. May Allah bless you. Assalamu alaikum. Stay blessed, healthy and happy.